gentlemen, my name's Trevor. This is The Herd with Buffalo Son, a name I was given by a Cree elder 25 years ago, son of the White Buffalo. Just showing some respect to our First Nation and our elders. I am coming to you from the Coast Salish Nation on Vancouver Island. And this is my first live stream. I've been wanting to do this for about a month now. First started this channel out, and originally what I've been doing is making clips of question period and taking what question is given from one side through one of the opposition parties to the House Party, the Liberals, and basically going through the whole question period and combining all the questions by topics. So current hot topics, we've got Bill C-11. I like to call it the Internet Censorship Bill. I believe the proper title for it is the Internet Streaming Act. Anyways, the government's pushing that through. There was over 150 different proposed amendments. Most of them weren't even debated. You can look in the committee section. I got some footage there of the C-11 meetings where basically the Liberals claim that the Conservative Party is filibustering these meetings, while at the same time it's literally a bill about censorship that's censored. We don't get to know a lot in Section 4. That's really where the big problem comes from. Some people, it's specifically Section 4.2. Myself, I see a lot more problems with all of Section 4, which essentially we don't get to know when this bill passes what is the mandate for the CRTC going to be. We've heard from the CRTC numerous times in committee, and we know what the Liberal Party is telling us about this bill is not correct. And this has kind of become a pattern with our Liberals here. Of course, we've got the Emergency Act that was invoked. We're getting ready for it all again. We hear the Liberals, Liberal Party members through the caucus already talking about what's going to happen on Canada Day. Right, they're making it out to be worse than it is before we even get started here. With Canada Day coming up, there's a movement for a lot of people that are wanting to camp on Parliament Hill, and of course we'll see how long that protest is going to last. But telling us in advance that. We're going to have problems with this. We're starting off just like we did with the last one. The last time around, two journalists from Global News had written an article and basically started to get everybody up in a panic about what was happening at Parliament Hill. And then through all that, we've heard, countless lies. I believe we're up to 14 different lies that our mainstream media has told us. That were repeated in the House of Commons, only for us later to find out through committee that these were not true. Things like the arson. The arson actually was the opposite of what our media was telling us, as these were two left-wingers that had committed the arson. And I don't like to use the term left-wing. I think that we're just used to looking at things from a left to right perspective. If you want to understand me better and this channel better, understand that I look at things a lot more from an authoritarian perspective on the top to the libertarian perspective on the bottom. And I certainly find myself below the line of authoritarianism on the libertarian side of things. And I could find myself agreeing with, bills or motions put forward by the Green Party, the NDP, the Liberals, and, all the way onto the other side with the Conservatives. And what we've got coming from the right wing side of things, and I think a lot of that is because of how I do look at things more from the perspective of being authoritarianism or libertarianism. And originally, governance was the people versus the government. About 300 years ago, historically, I believe, back in France is when it first started to change from the people versus the government to the people having multiple different parties and the people being divided. And um, in Canada, that starts to take effect when originally it was the Conservative Liberal Party of Canada. Um, like they were one party together. Once they separated, then of course we had the Liberal Party of Canada and the Conservative Party of Canada, and we've had a divide ever since because we're never the people together. And then it's great to have all these other parties come in. I don't like calling them fringe parties because their views are important to me as well. I think that having these different parties has only grown our divide, unfortunately. While it is certainly not the point of these parties to create that divide, but it is part of the outcome that we do see with having multiple different parties. A lot of, especially with the NDP and Liberals, there's a lot of times where they're stealing votes from each other, essentially, right? And then those two parties will account for the majority of the votes, and the Conservative Party will have gotten or will have won the riding with the most amount of votes. Even though that people who identify as liberal and NDP liberal, obviously aren't happy with the Conservative approach to things. I think the Conservatives are a fairly lost party in Canada right now. That does tend to happen during leadership changes. However, we're leadership change over leadership change over leadership change, year over year over year here now. And so that's left a lot of confusion inside the Liberal Party, or pardon me, inside of the Conservative Party of Canada. My concern there is what we've seen happen in other countries like the Ukraine is we get this new age type of liberal party or liberal leader that goes in and appeals to the progressives inside of the Conservative Party, and then the party essentially becomes a liberal party, right? There's not a whole lot of difference. You can call it free market capitalism. You can call it globalization of the world's economy. They're just essentially two different terms for two different types of capitalists. The liberal approach and the conservative approach, and I find that there's a lot of things like that. And the more that I look at things from the perspective of being authoritarian to libertarian, the more I see that there's just so much that they do that is similar, and there's not a whole lot of difference in between these parties. At the end of the day, they vote together about half the time. When you look at the votes, when they've made amendments that have gotten approved and then still voted against the bill in the end, these parties they're 65-70% the same. There's just not that much difference, or not as much as our media may make it out to be here for us. And that's part of the reason why I want to start making videos like this. This one's just going to be live, just me. What my intent is to have some live runnings of videos with the question period running, and just to basically comment on things that the different parties say while question period is going on. A lot of the time, we obviously we don't get the question answered, and that's been more and more of a problem here as we go into more and more cabinet confidence. We certainly see less and less transparency coming from the Liberal government. Um, and this is the same government that's in other ways trying to say, well, here, look at us, we are transparent, and just through some of the measures they passed and freedom of information laws, and they have made those laws easier for just everyday people like me and you to access. While on the other hand, they turn around and me starting up a media company would not be something that the government would approve, right? And then, of course, we've got media that's legit media the Liberals don't want to hear, like Rebel News, which I don't necessarily agree with, half the things they say, but I'm certainly 100% against them as a media company not being able to be registered with the government of Canada and getting the same perks that all the other media companies do. Like we're well over 1,500 different media members that have received benefits just in the past 2 years here, and through that. We're basically sorting out dissent, and that's not right. We need a society where we're able to hold our government account, and where there isn't so much cabinet confidence and hiding these secrets. And I'm sure if we could have Trudeau break cabinet confidence like we convinced Harper to do 3 times during his scandals, we'd have a certainly different perspective in Canada about what's happened at the Emergencies Act, right? And it's because they've, told us these lies over and over and over again, and they've got these over 1,500 different media members telling us, this is what's happening when we later find out through committee, through the Ottawa Police, through the RCMP, through Bill Blair inadvertently said some things. I don't think at the time he realized what he was saying or how that impacted the Liberal Party of Canada. But it basically goes to show that he does not agree with Chrystia Freeland. He does not agree with Marco Mendicino. And I'm sorry, Marco, you got to retire, man. You gotta step down. Canadians don't trust you, right? You have people inside of your own caucus that do not trust what you have done with the Emergencies Act here. And if it weren't for Matthew Green, there would be no NDP holding accountability to our government whatsoever, right? They're just spewing out talking points. We all know that Jagmeet Singh co-signed this year's budget for Trudeau, right? They got themselves into some hot water in the way that they did this without it being brought to the House of Commons and through the media, through the House of Commons. Trudeau and Singh decided to make this their own press conference, and individually they each made their own announcement through the media, and this is how the people starting getting misled about things. So now it's pretty hard for the NDP to turn around and do another about face and say, oh, well, we're against the Liberals. And we see a lot of Jagmeet's tweets and his TikTok videos. I don't really do the TikTok thing. I have an account. I think I maybe used it 4 times, something like that. Not very often whatsoever. So I'm getting to the 15-minute mark. That's about how long I wanted to make these thanks for joining me. Look forward to having a lot more of these.